Hello, folks. How are you? Welcome back. Episode 125 of Fight League Atlantic Exposure. This episode is sponsored by our friends at Enbiage Sport Pre-Workout Coffee. Check them out online, amazon.uk. Available here directly from Fight League Atlantic in the future. Not too long here in Canada. Fantastic episode lined up tonight, folks. Really excited about this episode. Super honored to be joined by two guys who, up and coming, but have been around this game for a hell of a long time. They're running the fight game, they're running everything in the New England area, taking over, and it's super exciting to have people like this who not only look out for the up and coming athletes, but also have UFC stars on the roster, and it's super cool. I want to bring him on, the man behind Top Game Management. He's a manager, he's an agent, he's a coach, he's a former fighter, and he's a guy doing it all behind the scenes and taking a lot of fighters to the next level. So really honored and super excited to be joined by Mr. Tyson Chartier. I thought I'd throw the little French in there since it's Canada,
Hey, how would you say my last name?
Chartier or Chartier.
Yeah, we say Chartier here in the States, but
Chartier, yeah.
I always hear different versions like Chartier, Charty. So yeah, I'm always interested to see how they say it up in Canada.
I knew it was Chartier, so hopefully it didn't offend you with that.
No. It's
Okay,
interesting
cool.
to hear how people say it. So
yeah. So well, thank you very much for joining us, man. Really appreciate it. I know you're again. We were talking a little bit before we went live. You're obviously in Rhode Island for a show right now. How's your travels?
It's good, man. It's about 2 hours from my house. So we showed up on Monday and we're quarantined till the fight. So we cut weight in the hotel room last night, weighed in today. And tomorrow night, I think at 7 is the first fight, and got 3 guys going. So we're excited to finally have a show in New England. That's not Bellator.
Yeah. Well, it's like we were just saying, again, off air, how important it is to have these kind of, I wouldn't say like feeder organizations, but it kind of is, when at the end of the day, it's these like ourselves. We're a local promotion. These promotions are a little bit bigger, but how important it is to keep the train running. Like I'm having this conversation with my commission all the time. The longer this goes on, like it's going to shut down the whole sport here.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hiccup in the pipeline for prospects, but hopefully it seems like some of the states and some of the promotions are figuring out how to get it going. LFA kind of led the charge on the local scene, and then CFFC has been running shows, and then now you see Tora MMA coming down into Florida, XFC. So you're starting to see it happen. This is our first local promotion that we've had in New England since COVID, so really since January then. So. Yeah, we're just happy to finally get some of these prospects to fight because their career had been on pause since March.
Yeah, that's a long time for any fighter, especially one that's having a good year or even coming off a loss. It's important to have these fights and have these events going, man. So that's good to hear. Who are the names? We spoke about it again, but Mitch Raposo.
Eddie George is fighting on the first fight. He's 1-0. He's a lightweight. He's got the best mullet in MMA, so you get to see him walk out tomorrow night.
Tanner Bozer.
Yeah, right. He's got a sweet mullet, and then next would be Mitch Raposo. He's 4-0, 21 years old. As blue chip of a prospect as they come. This kid started training MMA when he's 12. I think I just put up a video on my Instagram of him training MMA when he's 12 years old, saying that he's going to be a world champion, and now here he is 4-0, going on Fight Pass and trying to get to 5-0. So it's pretty cool to see. Someone like him, and he's kind of, spearheading that new wave of young MMA fighters that are coming through. So I'm excited about that. And then his teammate Chris Matino is 6-3. He was a former CS title challenger. So he can get back on a winning streak and get going. He's a young, talented kid. He's got some new coaches going on going into this fight. So hopefully you'll see some different things.
Nice. I was actually picking up today. I was watching a few of your past, like just coaching and stuff, and in the corner you're super calm, man, and it's cool to see. Did it take you a while to get used to that?
I mean, I had some good mentors. Like one of my, I had some coaches that were really loud, and I had some coaches that were quiet, and but the one constant, Big John would yell when I needed him to yell, but the one constant that I had in all 15 of my fights was this kid Chris Owen. He was a jiu-jitsu guy, didn't do MMA, but he was one of my mentors in life and martial arts, and he was always there to corner me for fights, and just he had a really calm coaching style when it came to jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that. And I kind of, emulated myself after him, and I learned when he was doing it on me. So then going into the fights, and I realized it resonated with me. And at the end of the day, like if these guys need to be, all jacked up and pumped up, I can yell, but guys like Calvin and Rob, they don't need to be pumped up. They need to be instructed. So that doesn't take yelling, and that doesn't take slapping them in the face or anything like that. So obviously, coaching in between rounds is, it's a bit of an art and it's a skill, but I'm just trying to keep getting better and keep practicing, and hopefully I come off as calm, right?
Well, that's it. For me, you do anyway. So whether inside, who knows? But obviously, Calvin here, super honored to have him join us here for the limited amount of time that he has. I know he's super busy. And so without further ado, folks, the number 6 featherweight ranked in the world. Super honored to be joined by, I'm rattled here. I'm rattled, boys. The whole New England cartel and the pride of Titletown, Calvin Kattar. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me on, man. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, don't be silly, man. Thank you. Super honored for you guys.
Or am I good?
You're great.
Headphones would be better.
Well, I'm sorry, T. Those things don't fit in my ears, bro. But Tyson's talking about getting in, practicing being a better corner. What he needs to do is learn how much water to pour, because he messes it up every time. First round, he's pouring in like way too much, and then in the later rounds, he's pouring too little. So you got one job, man. I'm on my mic right here. Just give me the water.
I saw a clip earlier today. It was like, here, I don't know which fight it was, but it was like, here, you hold the water. And it wasn't you, it was Mark. Oh, man, that was pretty funny, dude.
That's the way to do it, though. Definitely. I think we might just have to start giving me the water, T.
Yeah. It's
a move. It's just, I'm kind of, I'm kind of like fancy in there, man. I like to have it poured for me. I don't want to carry it. I get it. It's a tough job.
I think we do it the way we do it because it's just all camp. We have boxing gloves on, so I actually had to pour.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So then going into the thing, it's just kind of habit. But yeah, maybe next time I'm just gonna hand it to you. I know in between rounds I hand it to you.
Yeah, in the comments, they're like, guys, you have your fingers, MMA gloves. Like in the comments, you don't have to get poured in water. And I was like, man, that makes a ton of sense. I don't know why we don't do that more.
Well, you're kind of busy, I guess.
Yeah.
So, well, again, boys, you don't have a lot of time, and I want to really thank you for taking the time to join us. We're up here a little north in Nova Scotia, so again, we were just speaking about the importance of upcoming MMA, like shows that you put on, Calvin, and other shows in the scene, and how important they are to get back going. But I want to talk to you guys about the friendship, how not every day as a manager and your friendship kind of happen like you guys have. And the importance of a manager in MMA. A lot of guys don't realize, or girls, like fighters, how important it is. And I wanted to hear from both ends, kind of how the relationship, has its pros and cons, I guess, if you don't mind.
It definitely helps having, it's a team in anything. And, Tyson's great at the helm, kind of putting things together. And he probably deals with more than what's on most managers' plates, because he doubles, with the coaching. And, but he handles it well, man. He's solid to rely on for going into the fights. He's definitely taking a load off your plate. And otherwise, going into camp, you'd be dealing with a lot more, paperwork things, just stuff that doesn't really pertain so much to the training for the fight, which is really most important for the athlete and the fighter going in there. So, I'm definitely fortunate enough to have Tyson. Before him, it was just me and my brother. Because I feel like it's got to be some level of trust or family if you're gonna, get in there with me in the corner, or that's more on coaching. But anybody touching the money, man, combat zone, I have my mom touching the money at the front gate. I don't trust nobody.
Smart man.
And it's good to have Tyson on board. He's definitely helped me out tremendously. And I mean, I feel like we're still just scratching the surface.
I couldn't agree more with that. Well, how about you, Tyson?
Yeah, I think managers get a bad rap in MMA because some people do some unscrupulous things, and I think the biggest complaint I hear about managers is you can't trust them. They lie all the time. What do they do for their money? So I just think I bring a different element to it. Like I was a fighter, then I, obviously a coach, and so I kind of I wear a lot of different hats, and I just saw when I was a fighter the things that I didn't like and the things I wish I had, and I try to bring that forth with the guys that I manage and coach. And I just think it's always just about integrity, just do the right thing, make the right decision of what's best for the fighter. It's not about what's best for me or Top Game or my wallet or my family. It's about whatever's best for the fighter. And ultimately, if I align myself with whatever's best for the fighter, then we're all winning.
Yeah. Very well said. Do you guys find that it's changing? Because as a I'm certainly not at our promotion's not, we're pretty well known here in the East Coast of Canada, but we're certainly not on a world level. But do you guys find the sport is continuously growing to the point where eventually, the UFC is going to be doing shows again, coming out of this COVID, continuously doing, every weekend?
I think so.
Yeah.
There's through every con and setback, man. There's a pro, and UFC's found their niche where all these other sports are definitely struggling. But UFC's had a chance to kind of take the forefront, I think. And that first show was huge. I felt like I was really lucky to be a part of that one, and a lot of eyes on the events now, which is great. But yeah, I'm just happy to have an organization like that. I feel like you're saying, I feel for the guys that haven't had that shot yet, but trying to get into the UFC at this point when things are at a standstill. But Tyson brought up a great point to me the other day. He said that, really not so much the guys that are training right now, the local scene's kind of on a standstill, but that does provide another opportunity for, the guys that maybe didn't get their shot to still compete and maybe get, last second chance when otherwise they might not have got it if things were the way they were. But yeah, sorry to move that question around on you, but
Well, it wasn't really a question. I'm just totally rattled here, boys. So I just appreciate you joining us, but it wasn't really a question. So thanks for saving my ass on that one. But what another thing I want to kind of ask about too is I've asked other fighters about this. Fighters who have kind of got their first fight, the first big chance, and they're fighting in, say, UFC, in the fight island in front of nobody. Do you think when it does come back, do you think they'll have an adjustment fighting in front of 20,000 people? Do you think it'll be a whole new adjustment again, or do you think it'll be a pretty smooth process because they've obviously fought in front of fans before, but maybe not that amount?
Ideally, the guys that are serious, man, it doesn't matter who's on the outside. They're all focused on the guys on the inside. The guys that maybe out of the top 15 that are maybe new to the game, but I don't know, whatever the case, man. The guys that are really serious, they don't give a shit about the crowd. They're all secondary. But like Tyson said, for me going in there, I don't need the crowd to amp me up. I'm already going on 100. I kind of visualize the arena almost being like that on the way in anyway. I'm really kind of focused on the job at hand. And then after the fight is where I miss the crowd and the audience the most, when it's time to hear that crowd roar after like maybe a spectacular performance. And I feel like we're all robbed of that, but as far as going to the fight without the audience and when they come back in, yeah, it's definitely, weird again, like going out wise. I remember I went out to Texas visiting my sister, and it was like nothing changed. So that was kind of the old normal is weird to me now, being around a bunch of people. It's kind of a little different, but when it comes to fighting, man, and that's kind of how the gyms are on a Saturday for sparring. There's not really a lot of people, at least nowadays, like you're saying, in the gyms. And it's, I feel like it's taking a lot of pressure off for some of the guys too. Stepping That's in good. There, you don't have the crowd kind of screaming at you, distracting you, and you can kind of just focus on the job at hand and taking out the guy in front of you.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very well said. Do you notice for yourself, Tyson, like in the coaching, like obviously there's no crowd, you can hear yourself, like you can hear the commentators. Does it anything different for you, or?
I like it a lot better because I feel like we don't have to scream as loud. I feel like the crowd doesn't factor in. If we're fighting a hometown guy, like when we fought the beat in Russia, it was like anything he threw, whether it landed or not, was swaying the judges.
Yeah.
Not that had like an impact on the outcome, but just things like that. And then like
and nothing just landing. Like you just like.
We can focus on coaching and like knowing that he's hearing it. But I think one thing that's not getting brought up is people talk about the fans being there or not. Like go to Vegas on a pay-per-view and fight on the early prelims. There's just as many people in the stands for that fight. Not in a small market fight because those fans show up early. But the Vegas ones, you're fighting in front of maybe 1,000 people in front of the whole stadium for those first early fights on the big cards when it's in Vegas. So I think those guys, it's probably a good adjustment period for them. They're coming in. They're used to fighting, in front of nobody anyway in there. So it's not that big of a difference for some of those guys early in the card. But, I think for guys like Calvin, I think they're, I said this, like guys like that are making their first main event walk, don't get that rub from the crowd. Guys like Calvin, who just got that, amazing knockout against Jeremy Stevens and didn't get to jump the cage and hear the crowd like, rewarded for that. And so I just think like that we're being stole of pretty good memories. Like we were looking the other day at a picture of him after he beat Burgos flexing on the cage after in Boston in their hometown. I think you can see like Machine Gun Kelly in the background standing up like this, we don't get that in the Jeremy Stevens fight. We're in an empty arena in Jacksonville. And I just think like there's a lot of things that like, we're getting, probably taken from us, moments that would have been, that much more rich, but it is what it is. At least we get to do it. So I think
task at hand, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Fuck. It's so frustrating here. We're in Nova Scotia, so we're in this little maritime bubble. So only the 4 provinces you can travel amongst them, and we have 3 cases, I think, in our province. But the commission's like, no. It's like, what? No, come on, let us fight.
I feel for the local guys, man, all trying to get this shot. Myself being a promoter too, it's tough, man. I'm just dealing with the venues, the states with the regulations, everything. It's not the easiest thing to kind of go about, but I just feel for local guys, because if it's just going to separate the guys who really want it from the guys who kind of want it. Really is it. The people that kind of want it, maybe that's that distraction that pulls them away from the fighting,
Yeah.
But for me, when that happened with Zabit, in November, I felt like my whole world was in a pandemic months before it actually came to the U.S. because I had hit that loss. My goals were to go 3-0, and I was really, really hungry. And so I had got right into training, and then I was planning on fighting in March. So when they moved it from there to April to May, it was like I was like a dog on a bone. I felt like I improved so much in that time, and I knew it was a huge advantage. Like I said, with the setback and the cons, I try to force myself to find the pro in every con, and in that situation, I saw it as an opportunity to get a leg up on the competition, and we just made it happen, man. Instead of finding an excuse, we just found a way. And
championship mindset.
Yeah, it is what it is. I was sprinting up and down my brother's street on a bicycle, lifting a 40-pound sandbag for the Jeremy Stevens fight. That was my strength and conditioning.
You can tell though, like when you fight though, like you can tell you won.
Yeah, 100%. I fight these guys, like I said, like they owe me that show money, and I'm serious, man. I'm trying to change my life every fight, and these guys are just in the way of that. So, and I just bring that mindset, man, to training day in, day out, and if you compound that over the course of a camp, and when your next fight's going to be, you get some really big dividends, man, with just a hungry mindset and a willingness to put in the work on a daily basis. Man, we all know know what it takes, but these guys don't really want to do it. It's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, well, that's you say, it sounds simple, but it's about as impossible as, like, it's super impossible for a lot of people. A lot of people can't even get off the couch, like to do it. Like, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and let me tell you, I'm a guy who, like, a hobbyist, and I'm not a high level competitor by any means. And I love rolling with like guys or girls or whatever it happens to be that show you levels, and it's an amazing feeling when you can get humbled, and fuck, martial arts are a beautiful thing. And when you can watch athletes like you compete at such a high level, man, and like the cardio and the technique and everything's so beautiful, it's a pretty thing to watch, man.
Yeah, I'm just excited, man. There's a lot of people that have been with me for, since the beginning days, the early days. And I'm happy to show them that, they understand, they get it from where I came from and how long I've been going at this. And I think I try to be a representation for just not quitting, not giving up, and not taking no for an answer, making things happen and just, so the people that have seen me, this didn't happen overnight for me, man. And this next generation guys is they kind of want things now, right? And they want them quick, and they want to work for it. I think like these guys asking for the fights, you just concentrate on putting in the work. I think their focus is a little distracted, and I don't know, for at least for myself, man, I don't really care to talk shit about other people. What works for me is putting in the work on a daily basis, man. Day in, day out, and just my old adage is just that I'm not going to lose because I didn't work hard enough, ever. And I could live with that. I could live with the results either way as long as you put in the work. And I feel like a lot of times, like, these guys just got to focus on the work because that's the only thing paying dividends.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of these people, these young fighters now, not everybody, there's some outliers, but you're seeing a lot of young fighters that want to get rich without putting in the work.
Yeah.
And someone like Calvin, you were 16-2 before you got in the UFC, but you see how ready he was. His first fight, 9 days notice against Andre Philly, and he performed. So I think there's something to be said for that. I think he's a good. I always use Calvin and Rob as examples of, like, I can't want it harder, more than you do. If I have to bug the fighter to get in the gym or stay motivated when they don't have a bout agreement, those guys generally don't work out.
Yeah.
So Calvin's one that trains year round. And I use a good example is when the Stevens fight, it was originally supposed to be in March, but then they moved it to April 18th. And then the Thursday before we were supposed to fly out, that's when ESPN canceled, like, or Disney canceled the card. They told Dana to step down or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was a Thursday night. Calvin was at my house next day lifting. He's like, listen, I just want to keep doing camp. Let's just keep training. And then sure enough, that Monday, it got moved to May 9th. So, that's the mindset that he has. It's
positive.
He never surprised me with his motivation. And I think, I always say that him and Rob are a good blueprint for young fighters on how they can model their careers after, in terms of having the right work ethic, the mindset, the patience to get in. He was 16-2. Rob was 10-1. And, you get these guys now, they get to 4-0 and they're complaining that they're not in the UFC yet. And
fuck, I know.
It's tough, man. And I'm sure you as a promoter get it, because I know Calvin does this. Oh, I can't get that fight. That won't get me, I'm trying to stay undefeated and go to the UFC.
He promotes as well?
Yeah,
he's
so
a promoter in
we're
Nova Scotia.
I thought you had more grades. As a promoter, man. I'm losing my hair, bro. Shit's crazy.
Oh,
so
dude.
you got the same disease I got.
Yeah, well, losing money disease.
Yeah, man, it's just that pay it forward disease.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
But, like, it is I don't know. It's different because we've only done one event. So we used to do jiu-jitsu events but we've only done one MMA event, and then COVID kind of, like everybody else, shut us down. So we're pretty green in the whole thing, but if you guys ever want to come up and take the drive, or we could get you on a flight up, Boston and Nova Scotia is only an hour flight.
Yep. So, yeah, man, I'm trying to get out that way more often anyway. I'm training like I got a fight right now, man. I feel like just, Zabit, not Zabit, what's his name? Zombie and Ortega. Like, in my head, I'm fighting one of those guys are falling out right now, and I'm going to fight one of them, I'm thinking. But it's not cool, but in my head, like, I'm mentally prepared. That's happening in my head. I might have to lose a lot of weight still, but in my head, like, I think it's gonna happen. And and the more I focus on shit like that, the more I'll be in the gym, the more I can distract myself with training. So chances are, it's gonna probably have to be right after a fight if I come out that way.
Nice.
I'm always in the gym out here, man, trying to stay ready for the next opportunity.
Are you? Well, that's obviously that's the whole coming to Nova Scotia to fish and hunt isn't going to pay the bills, unfortunately. So
yeah, I got nothing to celebrate yet, man. We got real big goals. People are like, "Oh, aren't you pumped on the video game?" I'm like, "Yeah, but like, no, that's not really. It's a good checkpoint, cool, but like, I'm focused on way bigger things, man. And you don't get it by just not training and sitting around talking about it and." But like you said, man, I'm happy. I got Tyson as a manager. I got Rob Font, best teammate in the game. I really feel confident. You don't get that type of a team overnight. That takes, I've been in the game a long time. Like I said, I felt like I'm in a situation where I got the right people around me. And now all I have to do really is just focus on putting in the work. And it's paying dividends, like I said, man. So I'm happy to have the team around me that I have. And I feel confident stepping in there with anybody now.
Huge. Well, looking forward to a big 2021, man.
2020, man. I ain't done yet.
Nice. That's right. Shut up, Derek. Shut up. That's right. That's right. Well, I don't have much pull, but Dana, listen up.
I don't know, man. I'm ready. Like I said, I think someone's pulling out this weekend, and if not, in my head, I'm fighting in latest December.
Nice.
And then if they keep trailing it, then I'll keep like that dog on the bone, man. I'm ready for someone.
Wow. You have a lot of fans up here, man. Like a lot of people that I speak to throughout our community up here. A lot of fans in the Maritimes up here. There's a little bit of a similarity for some reason. Obviously, I don't know what it is about kind of being on the East Coast and kind of like Harbor. I don't know what it is, but Boston and Nova Scotia I think it was actually I should know this. I was in travel and tourism, but like when there was a Halifax explosion, I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Long story short, there was quite a big, a lot of people in Boston sent goods and like supplies. Yep. Basically, this explosion destroyed the whole city up here.
Yeah.
Like anyway, so there's a lot of kind of
happy to hear that about Boston.
Yeah, we send you the Christmas tree every year from Nova Scotia.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool.
That's one that gets lit up. Yeah,
One, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, every year.
You guys by Moncton, when we went to Moncton, is that Nova Scotia?
That's New Brunswick. So like it's pretty close. It'd be like New Hampshire, Massachusetts kind of thing, right? Okay. States versus provinces. But
I drove up there for that.
That took like 8 hours to just fly.
That's like same as to go to Montreal.
You probably had to go through Montreal and wait. Yeah, fuck, man. Up here, it's like, especially now with COVID, they've cut everything. Now it's like you got to fly. I got to fly to like Calgary to fly to Europe, kind of thing. Like it's like what? I have to fly 4 hours that way to go that way. But
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, small town, but we're lucky here. We're in this, like I said, we're in this bubble. So we have 3 cases of COVID, so none really for the most part. So everybody's kind of
kick them out. Kick them out of the boat.
Get them out of here.
Yeah, I just came home from Alberta. So in my own country, I had to go out to Calgary, like Alberta, for a wedding. My girlfriend's wedding, fiance. Oh shit, drop that.
Elite.
Yeah, elite. That's elite. So anyway, we went out there, and when you come back here, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. So I just finished yesterday, 2 weeks inside. Can't go anywhere. My own fuck. So
yeah, man, that quarantine shit sucks.
You guys know all about it. That's right. 2 weeks.
Well, no.
Well, in the bubble, you could technically say you're quarantining because when you go to Abu Dhabi, you're in this 2-mile bubble where you still have to social distance and wear masks. So you're kind of, I guess, you're quarantined from the rest of the country. But it's really the first 2 to 48 hours you get there, you can't leave your hotel room.
And then we did that in Vegas before we left. So it was like 2 there, 2 there. On top of losing a day on the flight, and then you're just like, you get me out of these hotel rooms. Then you get out of the hotel room to a 2-mile bubble. You're like, all right, I'll take it for now.
Yeah,
and it's 120 degrees and 85% humidity.
Yeah,
and it was I think it was like 15 there, 16 and a half back.
Man.
But like you said, I had to fly to Vegas to go to friggin' Abu Dhabi. It was like so West Coast to go all the way back. And that's how we came on the way back home too. But I mean, Vegas after a flight's never a bad idea. But before the flight's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, very true. Did you guys get to celebrate a little bit?
Yeah, I think we landed at 12 at night, 1 in the morning, and then we got
in and out
at like 4 a.m. I think I had 3 ice cream sandwiches by 5 a.m.
There you go,
folks.
It's
weird because the way they do the fights in Fight Island, we fought at 9 a.m. So we got back to the host hotel at like 10:30, took our pictures in the hotel.
A.m.
And a.m. And our shuttle was leaving to the airport at 2. So we had like 2 hours where we went up to the rooftop pool, had a couple appetizers, and that was our celebration. And then we jumped onto
I was like, what a
15-hour flight.
Like, it's 11 a.m. and I'm just,
how do you come down from that? Like, how do you be a normal person? Like, yeah, I gotta get on a plane now. Like,
yeah.
No, I'm so jacked up.
Yeah, good problems, man. We're doing what we love.
That's
I always try to have that grateful mindset, man. We're lucky enough to do this, but yeah, they definitely send you through the ringer sometimes before you get in there. But I always fall back on that. The other guy got to deal with it too, so it is what it is.
Yeah, true enough.
Anything he could deal with, I could deal with better.
Yeah.
And you were first class, so there's that.
Ooh, that's better.
Yeah. My hand, man, you should have saw it. It was funny, man. It was like a zombie apocalypse. All the guys in first class were the guys who fought, and just all mangled looking. And then I don't know if you remember getting off a flight for like 14 hours, man. The swelling just magnifies. It was like we got off, just couldn't even recognize them when they got off the plane from when they went on.
No.
Yeah, it was a mess. But yeah, I mean, when we landed, we were in Vegas, so all was well.
Yeah, everybody was probably pretty used to it in that airport, seeing you guys. I'm sure.
Yeah, good times though.
Yeah, it is good times. It's I want to ask you really quickly before I know Boston is such a sports town. I've spent a little. I lived actually in Lenox, Massachusetts, which is on the kind of the western part of the province. I went down there and used to work at a sports camp for kids, for youth. and loved it, man. But like all the championships, what do you think when you hear of a name like Brad Marchand? He's a good Nova Scotian boy. That's why I ask.
Yeah, I mean,
do you follow hockey at all?
not crazy.
No.
I like what I like about hockey is the fights. And then, my thing is, if you like the fight so much, why don't you just watch the fights?
Yeah.
But the hockey's fun. I'm more of a playoff hockey guy, man. I like same thing with like certain sports, man. I like hockey, but I'm more of a Patriots, football, Celtics, basketball. I like the Red Sox here and there, man. Anybody from New England, though, I try to get behind 100%.
Nice.
I think one of those guys you want him on your team, but he's annoying if he was on the other team.
Yeah.
Kind of like an instigator. He's like a guy who's going to try to get you to fight, but he wears a visor.
But he's not going to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He actually used to work. He's friends with one of my old amateur fighters, and he used to do privates with him and stuff.
Okay.
He's actually reached out a couple times through him. He wanted to kind of get working with Calvin and Rob, just mix up a little off-season training and stuff. So that's still a possibility. But yeah, I mean,
nice.
The
Let's
big
do it, man. He's starting to be about it. You're going to see next season his fights are going to go up through the charts.
Who's that?
If he does, go ahead.
Oh yeah, Marchand. Yeah. Well, he's he's scrappy. I will say he's not scared to get in there. So it'd be interesting to see if he could actually grapple. I'm sure people. I always get a kick out of this because being a jiu-jitsu guy, you get these people who are like, oh, no, man, I'd fuck him up. I'm like, what? No, man. No, that guy's a professional athlete. Legit. He not don't get if you're like a basic hobbyist blue belt. Brad Marchand's probably going to be able to hold his own.
I'd like to see some of these fights, man. Because I agree. I want to start seeing the professional athlete versus the blue belt. That's the fights that people really want to see.
Yeah, that's it. That's like Jason Ellis. We'll have to get talking. Yeah, do you know who that is? That comedian?
I'm bad with names, man. I'm telling you, I know too many. And
he puts on fights where he'll tie two guys' arms together. But the two ins, so they're sitting beside one another and they're across from two people, but they have their two inside arms tied so they can jab, and then their outside isn't tied. It's hilarious.
I love it. That's pretty. We used to do some drills where we both used to put the foot in the tire in the pocket training. I've done a lot of rounds like that. That's probably why I can't remember these people's names.
Oh, boys. Well, any final advice, coming from both sides of the business? You guys are extremely successful. And like you said earlier, Calvin, it's just a start right now. This is going to get bigger and bigger. And I'm super honored to, again, have you on here. What do you think for up and coming fighters, for up and coming promoters like ourselves? Any advice for people, just in general, not necessarily to deal with COVID, but in general,
Yeah, just don't wish for it more than you work for it. These guys all want to talk about things. Just go out and work for the shit you want. Actions, a lot of them words, and go out and get whatever you want by any means necessary. Don't take no for an answer. And like I said, just don't wish for it more than you work for it. That's my mindset.
Great quote.
I always just say, just try to enjoy the journey. Don't stress so much on getting to the UFC or getting wherever. Just enjoy it, because some of the best memories I have, and I'm sure Calvin could concur, is back when you were, a white or a blue belt, hanging around with your buddies, talking about the future.
I'm still
those
blue
things
belt.
Those are the things
dangerous
cool,
blue belt.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Just enjoy the process. Have fun.
Definitely enjoy the process, man.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a huge one, man.
That's the thing. There's got to be, to me, I'm when you're involved in the sport, and I always think of the moments after a fight, you guys, that moment when you went to the rooftop and you gave each other a cheers. Those are the moments you're like, man, this is worth it. Everything,
man. Cool checkpoints. Everything's it's a good checkpoint. That me and Rob are big on that, man. Post fight, it's just it's that moment when you get in the shower post fight, right out back. You're still sinking in what just happened, and we're just constantly trying to hit checkpoints, man. And we're on path to hit some good ones, but we're not done yet. And we got some big ones ahead of us. And hopefully people are tuning in and watching us, accomplish them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. One final question. Well, first of all, they better be tuning in. First of all, we're going to be pumping out these fights as much as we can here. The New England cartel. Where'd that all come from?
No, Rob came up with the name last summer. He was with you and Cal were hanging out, and you and Rob
Yeah,
were
he
hanging
was
out.
listening
And
to
he
that
decided,
Rick Ross album or something. He had said, "Yeah, man, Rob's on some shit. I love it, man.
Nice. That's
He's
awesome.
got a beautiful mind for the sport. That kid. He's just, yeah. He was on some shit that day. Put it together, and when we heard it, we're like, that's it. That's it.
Fits very well. It's like
Yeah.
it's brilliant, really. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of this game is marketing, man, and it's super smart.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's cool to have something to rep, and aside from just being from New England, which is cool in itself, title town, and yeah, we got some big shoes to fill, but we're excited about it.
Yeah. Well, it's again, lots of love from Nova Scotia and the Maritimes, in the Atlantic provinces. Anything that we can do, from up here, please reach out if you ever want to come up for a seminar or, whatever. By all means, we'd be happy and honored to help out in any way we can. So keep doing great things, being a great role model, and two badass mofos.
Appreciate it, brother. Yeah.
Thanks,
Promoter, man. It was a good talk.
Yes, man. Well, I'd love to pick your guys' brain again. I just put actually a little package in the mail today for you guys to try out some hot sauce and stuff from the Maritime.
All right, great. Yeah, appreciate
but
that, man.
No, well, you'll enjoy this kind of stuff. So it's actually, I put one of these in it here too, so you can just be careful though. It's like Carolina Reaper brittle, and it's like got ghost pepper sauce.
All you, Cal.
Tyson, you gonna take the first bite?
yeah. That's one bite.
I'm gonna rub some of that on Tyson's toilet paper when I go.
Oh no! Oh, don't say I sent it. I'm sorry, Tyson.
Yeah, I love it.
You won't be answering my messages.
The package, man. It's nice of you.
No, well, again, super honored, and thanks for your time, guys. So have a wonderful night. Good luck with the fights tomorrow night, and lots of love from Nova Scotia, guys.
Appreciate that, bro. Have a good one.
Fantastic episode, folks. Super honored to be joined. I don't know why I've said super. I was rattled this episode. I'm not going to lie. Not every day you get to interview two guys that you look up to a lot. So, it was a lot of fun. And I really thank them for the time and the work that they've done in the jiu-jitsu and martial arts community for continuing to grow it. And again, be great role models for a lot of the up-and-coming kids in the New England area, but also in all around the world. So keep it up. Next fight, make sure you tune in. Calvin Kattar, guy's going to be a world champion, folks. There's no doubt in my mind. Big fan. Again, this episode's sponsored by our friends at Envisage Sport. Make sure you check them out online at amazon.uk and available here directly from Fight League Atlantic in the near future online. Thanks again to all our other sponsors. This week, coming up, we're dropping the bracket. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I changed my voice. Anyway, we're dropping the bracket. Maybe Thursday, maybe Monday. Originally scheduled Thursday, but we may have to move it to Monday for this beautiful championship ring. I don't know if it'll fit on my finger. I'm not a very good Vanna White. Anyway, really super. My God. I don't know why I've said that word so many times. Great ring designed and made by Perez Jewelry Design here in Halifax. So thanks for calling, for doing that. And first of many. All right, folks, pre-order the pay-per-view available now at fightleagueatlantic.com as well. Share, like, and subscribe these videos on YouTube or Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you may be. Lots of love. Be good to one another and be kind. We're out of here.